that up. Okay. Until somebody shows how you can get nanoparticles out of your DNA, yes, that's what's in the jab, along with AIDS and polio and syphilis. Which jab did you take? Did you take Moderna, Pfizer?
Pfizer.
Okay, so you took Pfizer. So Pfizer has the problem with the myocarditis, encephalitis. What has came up recently has been, I think he's an epidemiologist, talked about the fact that what the men who take the jab, they no longer have semen anymore. They have spike protein in their testes. And so what that does is any woman that gets with a man who has taken the vaccine is potentially going to be infected with spike proteins coming in from that man's phallus.
Boy.
I'll see if I can pull the video up here real quick. We are not accepting anyone who's taking the jab. PCR test, yes. The jab, no. Because what it is you have a liquid computer operating system in your body flowing through your bloodstream, along with the graphene oxide, which are internal razor blades. And that's what's causing the clotting. So by you taking the jab, you are now effectively connected to the cloud. And so now they have groups of people, kids, if you will, or young people that can basically operate you like from remote control, like a video game.
Get out of here.
No, I'm not.
Are you serious?
This is what's happening with, this is exactly what's happening with it, because Pfizer is facing lawsuits, and it's called, what they call this is bioconvergence, where they're going to start bringing man and computer together.
Oh,
so,
no. I had to do it because of my job.
I understand that because of the job. And again, this is one of the things that has transpired, is because people haven't known that was a violation of the Nuremberg on bioethics. So which job were you working for that told you they were telling you had to take the jab?
This is called acuity, because everybody was getting COVID, so we had to get shots.
Yeah, but what job? What job was it that you had?
It was like a warehouse.
Okay, so you were working for a company and they were telling you to take the jab. And this is they didn't tell you because the pressure was being put on from the government to the companies to force the employees to take it. And some people quit their jobs, some people got fired because they refused to take it. Let me see, I'm just trying to see if I can pull up Sabrina's video here. So that's not a vaccine, that's a liquid computer operating system that you have in your body. And that's why I want to get Sabrina, because then once I show her, then it's going to be like, yeah, she worked in Black Ops, her and her whole family. Let's see here. Give me a second here. I'm just trying to pull up the video. Oh, I know. I just type in her name. I'll just type Sabrina, and then I'll show you the video. Let her explain it to you. This way, it's from an objective. Sabrina Wallace. There we go. The entire Sabrina Wallace video. She talks about what's called the kill box. There we go. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to put this here in the chat, and all right, so it's there, and now I'm going to put it on so everybody can watch it. And this is a woman that worked for the government and did Black Ops.
Person out there understand that When you ignore things that are legally entered into Pentagon directives, college textbooks, and other legal documents that are required by universities for PhDs, that's going to catch up to you. And when you decide that you're too stupid, you can't understand, well, that's how we end up with an intelligent cluster-based routing protocol and going through the human body. And people are out there right now telling you none of this is real. There's no computer networking through the human body. If there was, someone would have told us. Now, watch this. This is the Synergy Tech Metric PDF. Now, these papers are not just from the MDPI. They're not only from Cambridge. They're not only from your Elsevier journal. They're not only from Wiley. They're from everywhere. And when I type in emergent technology on Wikipedia, I'm told that the blockchain Bitcoin is not here yet. So that means that Bitcoin, 3D printing, nanotechnology is not in use. So for any of you right now that have a Bitcoin wallet, you're having a mass hallucination. I'm not joking. I'm not being hyperbolic. This says energy harvesting. Yeah. What kind of energy are they harvesting? Human, kinetic, intergalvanic, piezoelectric energy. Now you're going to tell me, oh, there's just no way. We don't have wireless sensor networks. And I said and showed we've had biosensors since the 1950s. So what we have had to endure for 5 years are psychological operations. And then everyone goes, well, that's their job and they have to do it. They're killing people. It's called a kill box. They are killing people. And whoever you are, you're letting them. You're not reading. You're not holding yourself accountable to the fact that when you eat your lunch, it doesn't come out your posterior in the same physical fashion because you have an electrical biochemical digestive tract with an electrical biochemical heart, an electrical biochemical bloodstream, neurotransmitters. No, there's no such thing. I've heard.
So that's just a short clip. So you already have a computer, liquid computer operating system in your body. You're already connected to the cloud. So first thing you're going to have to do, and you're not the first one that's taken the jab that wants to do our processes, and you can't do it because you're connected to the cloud. They can start putting thoughts in your head. They can start manipulating your body. They're already monitoring your body via the jab. As they called it the jab and not a vaccine. It's a liquid computer operating system. So that has to be dealt with before anything else. I have one other woman, she's took the jab calling me every other day. And I'm telling her, like, look, until you can prove that you can get it out your system, all the doctors that I've been seeing and all the doctors who are speaking out, once you take that, your DNA is changed.
Whoa. My DNA?
Your DNA has changed. Because you're taking in what is called a drug, what they won't call it a drug, from a pharmaceutical company. That pharmaceutical company knows about a case, a U.S. Supreme Court case. Once you take in any genetically modified materials into your body, you cease being a human being. Therefore, the laws and rights you think you have, you're no longer subject to that. So you have to check what's going on with your DNA. If you haven't mapped your DNA before, then you have to see what mutations are in your DNA. Then after you see that, then you got to see what's happening with, you need to do a D-dimer test to see if you're clotting microscopically, because right at this point, you're producing spike proteins.
You said a D-dimer?
Yep, D is in dog, dimer, D-I-M-E-R.
Okay.
And the D-dimer test, what the D-dimer test does is it shows if you're clotting on a microscopic level.
I can go to the doctor for this?
Yeah, you have to request that from your doctor. You want to see a D-dimer, you want to take a D-dimer test.
Okay.
That'll show if you're clotting microscopically. This is why airline pilots were suing Pfizer, and they were making it mandatory, and they were threatening to quit. And then they said, okay, they backed off, forcing the pilots. Or when they said the day they said there was an outage and all the planes in the United States were down, that wasn't because of no glitch. It was because the pilots were on strike because they were being forced to take the jab, and they refused. And they said, okay, we're going to take this. We're going on strike. So then the FAA had to back off.
Wow.
Here, I'm going to play another one here from Sabrina.
Just editing my video, and I'm sorry, you'll see why I'm laughing in a second, but it's awesome. It's amazing. Follow this bitch, and she knows she's a bitch. She's not out here to make friends. She's out here to get you the truth. And if you want to pay attention, you're going to learn. If you don't want to pay attention, you're going to move on to the next MK Ultra video that's out there promoting Trump, Hillary, or fucking Pierre Poilievre, Trudeau, whatever, political nonsense. Begging for coffee money, selling products, ivermectin to cure cancer. Listen and learn. And then check the description, because everything she's talking about will be down there with the direct links. So you won't even have to stop and jot it down and go search it out for yourself. Just look below. Sabrina Wallace, I bring you. She is absolutely amazing, and she's got attitude, but she's nothing but truth.
Not making friends. In the following way. Are they evil? Because in this book, it's an encyclopedia, but it says magic. So I should run away from it, be afraid, in the following way. Mike Adams just recently put on a Malfoy outfit, as in Malfoy from Hogwarts, and said, I'm the spellbreaker. And he spoke to all the men over 30 in the United States and wherever for the people who listened to him. And he said, men, you should be counting how many spells are being cast on you by demons at least 40 times a day. Now, you're the same men that tell your wives and friends and loved ones that me, Sabrina, I'm crazy, I'm loud, I don't do my hair, I'm evil, and whatever else. Meanwhile, I look at you and I'm like, wow, that's incredible. You know, back in the 90s, they used to call people in them psychic lines. You're the same dudes who said, don't be doing that. Do you remember why you told people you shouldn't be calling psychic lines? You told them, well, first of all, you're supposed to go to God, and you're not supposed to be going outside of God to find information. Then you tell them you do know it's a scam. A scam, right? As in, you would call 1-800-CALL-ME-A-PSYCHIC, you know, and then they would get you on the phone, and it's $15 a minute back in the 80s and 90s, and they'd have you counting rice. Keep you on the phone, right? Okay. So Mikey Adams is over there, and he's got you counting at least 40 times a day, 40, that they're casting spells on you. Your loved ones who are trying to get you to watch my channel, there's a reason for that, and it's not because of my hair or my tone of voice. It's because of something called JavaScript. And they know that Mike Adams is lying to you because he's a well-known scam artist who's already been under fire with lawsuits galore. Now enter in the Branson crew, Timothy Alberino and all them. Yeah, what am I showing you here? You should probably ask your synergist loved one who begged you, as an old man who thinks he knows everything, that maybe you don't. And then maybe you should have a little more self-respect and not sit there and pretend that you know better because you're a man and you're over 30, so you've grown up in this society that's crumbling all around us. The same society that just gave us a new digital backbone and called it a vaccine. Yeah, you don't even know what that is, right? Yeah. And you're just going to sit with your Bible because some man knows better than you. Well, guess what that makes you? Not a man. Fear the JavaScript, Mikey Adams said. There's a reason for that. Mike Adams is not a Christian. Not at all. Because if he was in any capacity, he'd have told people way before now what his laboratory has been involved in by international law. Hang on, my sign ran away again. Yeah, we don't use landlines anymore. You have to know what radio frequency assignments to use with their satellites and their bitty sticks. So when Mikey Adams comes out there in his Malfoy robe and he tells you to count the amount of spells that are being cast on you, and you're an older man and you believe him because you believe everything he says, or you're a God-fearing man. Excuse me, God-fearing man. Would you please explain to me in the 6G low personal area network the cybersecurity that involves human bodies? What's the personal area network? That's your wireless, the same wireless as your telephone, but you call it a cell phone because it probably is. Yeah, we don't use landlines anymore, do we? No. Okay, so what is this? This is cybersecurity. Then whoever drug you over here is going to tell you, yes, she used to hold a really high-profile job, work in the back end of Northcom. Then she worked at the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater as an internet services technical professional. She knows a lot about software, but more than that, she knows how radio frequency works in the body. Oh, see, now we're in trouble because why is this person, me, saying such terrible things about Mikey Adams? Because he's lying to you about something that as an old man, you should know about by now. And if you don't, that's because you're being resistant to technology. Why would you be doing that? If you're over 30 years old, where's your tape deck? Where's your cassette tapes? Yeah, that's what I thought. How about the records? I appreciate vintage, but we use CDs. You still got those going too? Compact discs? Or are you using what everyone else does with MP3? Yeah. So we run radio frequency directly through the body. We sure do, because the body's electrical. And you're over there counting how many spells they cast on you? Those spells are JavaScript for cybersecurity. You have a body area network, and it's somebody's job to route computer data through you. These are international standards. They're not going away. They're radio frequency standards, and you can look them up. They are international standards for the electrical engineers that work in our world to run computer data through humans for the global information grid architecture. Now, if I were someone who loved you, I don't appreciate Mike Adams telling my grandpa, my uncle, my dad, whatever, my brother, that he needs to sit there and count 40 times a day, that his biosensors, which again, this is an international system that's been around since 1995, bare minimum, and I wouldn't want my family members sitting there looking stupid like those people in the 80s who were told, just count rice so I can charge you a bunch of money. Why? Because this system is documented. It's called Industrial and Scientific and Medical Radio Frequency Bands. It's not a maybe. The 802.15.4 is right here, and the biosensors are in the body permanently. That is a fact. They are not on the body. You do not get a choice. They're already inside of you. There are technical documents in the Synergy PDF that I would want my family member to have so that they could find that medical implant communication system right there. And once they did, I would say, you do realize that Mike Adams and the Deliverance Ministries with Timothy Alberino, Steve Quayle, Gregory's from InfoWars, this is what they leave out. We run radio frequency through your body, and now we have human body communication. No tower required. And how did we get there? With the help of people like Mikey Adams who kept their mouths shut, with the medical implant communication system on the radio frequency band I just showed you. So when we don't make people accountable and they don't have lawfare, why would they? It's their job to deliver bodies wide open to anyone who orders that body with radio frequency communication. Yep. You see where my sign went? It ran away. So for all of you who have loved ones, old men who are watching Mike Adams, for all of you who have loved ones who think they're a targeted individual or who are survivors of satanic ritual abuse, you need to learn about the medical implant communication system, and you need to do it today. You owe yourself that. They know what they're doing. They always have. They have specialized systems that are now on every single human, not just the people they tested on in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Now, I appreciate that no one else came out and gave you this information before, but whoever it is that loves you enough to try to help you understand, you owe them your mind. Don't get caught up in my hair and my tone of voice. It doesn't matter because it won't change what's happened. The medical implant communication system is now upgraded. We put RFIDs in people in the 60s and 70s. We don't chip people like dogs anymore because we don't need to. Just like we don't listen to our old 8-tracks or our cassette tapes, some of us might listen to CDs, very few, most people, they're online, yeah. It's called technology, right? It goes in its steps ahead. You need to get caught up. This is life and death. And I don't want you sitting there listening to Malfoy, counting rice the same way, being afraid of witches and demons when it's all just electronic warfare. Play for play, or pay for play, yeah, play for play. Okay? I'm not saying that other things don't exist, but I'm warning you that the majority of the fear-mongering and physical diseases they've been able to accomplish, it's all in here. You have a biochemical body part involved in all of this that they took away from everybody. You're not the only one. And here's how they did it. They get to go to work every day on internet information, surveillance, and reconnaissance with the Internet of Behaviors, Bodies, Things, and the Internet of Industrial Things and Medical Things. That's your body area network. That's why synergists are here on the channel. They're learning about the fact that we took a human body part away from everyone in the whole world 150 years ago. Got a question for you. You're a 30-year-old or over 30-year-old man, right? Have you ever seen a chiropractor? Probably, yeah. Okay. This is the other reason a lot of people, different people, are on my channel, because 6,000 years of the human circulatory system did not change. But 150 years ago, disappeared, along with the body part that goes with it that's electrical. Human bonding communication is what it's called in the new 6G. You will never get telepathy, empathy, precognition, or telekinesis on your own. Now it's driven by the AI through the global information grid biosensors, which are made of your own tissue, DNA analyte derivative. And how did they get away with that? You're lying to people about a body part that used to be known as the human aura, and it's called the human biofield.
All right, so I'm going to stop there. I will put the link.
I don't blame you.
I'll put the link into the chat for that in a second. And now, regarding this one is regarding men who have been vaccinated. This is an admission from Pfizer, so I strongly suggest that you pay attention to this. Eric, okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
Had escaped without side effects. Vaccinated men around the world who thought they had escaped without side effects are waking up to bad news this week. As groundbreaking research reveals, their sperm is behaving in ways doctors have never seen before. According to new research, vaccinated sperm is refusing to swim and instead ties itself into knots by self-assembling into bizarre 3D ribbon-like structures. But it gets even worse for vaccinated men, as doctors are now warning the unvaccinated to avoid sexual intercourse with them under any circumstances. Before we dive in, join the People's Voice Locals community if you haven't already, and sign up to become a member of the world's first ever cyber nation that truly believes in life, liberty, and the pursuit of your dreams. Visit joson.com and click the Join Us button today. It's completely free. During the pandemic, demand for unvaxxed sperm began to climb, with millions of women around the globe searching for unvaccinated men to become pregnant. These women were smeared as conspiracy theorists by the mainstream media, and late-night hosts were instructed to mock them on their programs.
Now, anti-vaxxers have all kinds of stupid reasons they oppose getting their shots, but maybe the stupidest of the stupid is that they think their pure semen will skyrocket in value. I guess that spam email was telling the truth. You really can make loads of money from home. It should be noted that studies have definitively shown that getting vaccinated does not, in fact, affect sperm quality or count.
But as per usual, we just had to wait a couple of years, and the so-called conspiracy theorists were vindicated, while the media and their out-of-their-depth late-night hosts were revealed to be spreading fake news. So what's going on here? For as long as humans have been on Earth, sperm has behaved the same, like tiny determined swimmers on a mission, darting and zigzagging their way through a maze, all racing towards the ultimate finish line. But as Dr. Jane Ruby revealed this week, just a few years after the vaccine rollout, vaccinated sperm is behaving in ways we've never seen before. This is semen from a healthy 38-year-old male who took 2 Pfizer mRNA vaccines and a booster 2 years ago. He claims that he experienced no post-injection side effects from the shots. But little did he know, he had been altered on a cellular level. After his sperm was suspended in a normal saline solution for 30 days, it began self-assembling and forming many of these 3D ribbon-like structures. This is not normal sperm behavior, and doctors are warning they've never seen anything like it before. Denmark is the only country that has published a study on sperm health since the pandemic started, and they found a 22% decline in motile sperm concentration and total motile sperm counts from 2019 to 2022. This could explain why doctors are reporting that the sperm of vaccinated men no longer swims, but instead paddles around in circles before tying itself in knots. As Dr. Christiane Northrop reports, vaccinated sperm is hugely contaminated with non-organic substances, and medical scientists are baffled as to what's going on.
It's from my colleague, Dr. Carrie Made, who's been in touch with fertility clinics. They've never seen anything like it. The sperm of inoculated men does not swim. The eggs of inoculated women do not grow into embryos. And those that do have a huge amount of contamination with stuff that's non-organic. What's going on here?
Dr. Northrop rightly asks what's going on here, and provides a hint when she explains that vaccinated women are also suffering the consequences of the COVID shots on a reproductive level.
We also know that, according to the first New England Journal of Medicine study saying that Pfizer was safe and effective, this was in June of 2021. If you look at the raw data, it proves that 80% of the women who get the shot in the first and second trimester, basically 0 to 20 weeks, have an 80% miscarriage rate. Now, the miscarriage rate, just baseline, is 1 in 6. It's now 7 to 8 times that much. Dr. James Thorpe points out that there's a 79% increase in fetal malformations. There are unprecedented numbers of stillbirths. But again, this stuff becomes so censored that the mainstream says, oh no, that's a lie, you're making that up. We also just published My Cycle Story with many scientists, including Dr. Hooker here, where we had a database of over 6,000 women that came forward because their voices were being silenced. We had a group of about 20,000 women on Facebook who were talking about their experience with their menstrual cycle. They'd never seen anything like it. 90-year-olds beginning bleeding again. And we're not talking mild. Wow. We're talking clotting. I had women calling me who had been passing clots for weeks and weeks. We have 2 VAERS cases of little girls, 18-month-old girls, who hemorrhaged and died.
The long-standing depopulation agenda of the global elites was at the heart of the pandemic and the vaccine rollout, and we're now seeing the results of the sterilization drive. Dr. Naomi Rolfe provides important context here, revealing that Pfizer knew exactly what they were doing before the vaccine rollout. And so did the US government before telling pregnant women to get vaccinated.
The FDA asked the court to keep this document hidden for 75 years. It is titled Pregnancy and Lactation Cumulative Review, and the time span is from the beginning of the development of this vaccine to the 20th of April, 2021, when Robert T. Morocco approved that review, looked at it, saw the dead babies, saw the injured babies, saw the miscarriages, said fine, moved it along to FDA. FDA gave it to CDC. 3 days later was the White House press conference telling women to get vaccinated who were pregnant. This document is among the most horrifying yet to emerge into public view. It reveals that both Pfizer and the FDA knew about this horrible damage to fetuses and babies. Over 2 years ago, they tabulated adverse events, as you said, in over 54% of the cases of maternal exposure to the vaccine. Now, I want to really call attention to something terrifying here. Pfizer says maternal exposure during pregnancy, before pregnancy. This is important because elsewhere in the documents, Pfizer defines exposure to the vaccine as including sexual intercourse of unvaccinated women with vaccinated men. So Pfizer knew that there's something in the semen of vaccinated men or in skin contact and inhalation of vaccinated people that sheds, that damages pregnancy and childbirth and lactation. That's what they were looking for.
The depopulation drive is in full swing. Excess deaths are surging, populations are collapsing, and the risk of a devastating global population collapse is becoming more likely by the day. Even if you avoided the shots, you're not safe from the sterilization agenda of the elites. Coming up, doctors warn the unvaccinated to avoid sexual contact with the vaccinated at all costs.
And lastly, for the other one here, let's see. Make sure you double click and bookmark. Double click on that, it'll open up, and then bookmark it in your browser, people. So you have these documents here. No, that's not the one. Hold on a second here. It was just a recent one in the Caribbean. Vaccinated men. Give me 1 second, everybody. Sperm count.
Person out there understand that when you ignore things that are legally entered into Pentagon directives, college textbooks, and other legal documents that are required by universities.
Oh, this was playing. Hold on a second, everyone. 1 second here. There we go. There we go. Oh no, that's a different one. Trying to see if I can find that from this is from an epidemiologist who was talking about the sperm count of sperm vaccine. To do like a different mix here. Okay, let's see here. Because sometimes the titles are different, and I recall putting it in there. It's just this group. Okay, yeah. Sperm, Pfizer vaccine. Oh, spike protein. There we go. There we go. There we go. Here it is. Okay, so I got this one, and I'm going to see if the other one's underneath. Okay, good. All right, so I'm coming back here, and I will put this one here. And I'll make sure I put the link to the previous video here in the chat as well.
If an unvaxxed and vax have sex, what happens to the unvaxxed?
So I have all sorts of interesting people that contacting me. And so one was a 32-inch, sorry, a 32-year-old man. Sorry.
That must have been an antediluvian. Yeah.
I must, yeah. Okay. No, he was taller than 32 inches.
Yeah,
No, anyway, he was 32 years old and unvaxxed, and he'd got a vaxxed girlfriend. And after he had intimacy with her, he got chest pains and mental fog and a very sore throat and terrible fatigue. And he contacted me because he realized that he'd never had any of this before, and it was directly after being exposed physically, body fluids, whatever, to this vaxxed lady. And this is vaccine shedding. So obviously, those people that got vaxxed now have these genes in their body to keep making spike proteins. And some people are very, very tough and don't seem to notice it until they sometimes just unexpectedly stop breathing. But there's some people who are really sensitive to it. And this guy obviously was. That he was exposed to spike proteins from this girl. He wasn't making the spike proteins, he just got some into his system, and it made him really sick. So I gave him some advice. I said, okay, well, the best things we know for getting rid of those spike proteins are nattokinase, made from fermented soybeans, breaks up those spikes, brilliant natural remedy from Japan. Bromelain, which comes from the stem of a pineapple, breaks up those spike proteins. Curcumin, which is also a brilliant natural anti-inflammatory that has a proven benefit in counteracting the inflammation caused by those spike proteins. And ivermectin, which literally binds those spike proteins and stops them causing the clots. And so I told him to use those 4 things. And so initially he couldn't get the ivermectin because they're still trying to stop people from getting it. But he had the other 3. And so he took the other 3 for a week. And he said there wasn't a big change until he got the ivermectin. And then literally once he took the ivermectin, he said he felt 100% back to normal. So the fact that they have done so much to block people from getting ivermectin speaks volumes. Because this is willful harm.
He's still seeing the woman?
They stay 35 inches apart.
All right, so there you go. You've gotten the technical, you've got the health side of it. We can't engage with you until we know what we're dealing with, because you might seem normal and may present yourself normal to us. Your body's being monitored as we speak.
Wow. Okay.
So that's what you're gonna have to do. You have all the links there. So you'll have to check and you see some remedies. Have you, since you've taken the jab, has your health been good? Have you been having effects? Were you feeling winded?
I know before I had got the COVID shot, I had some stem cells injected into my knees.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing good for like a year with those stem cells working. But after I got that COVID shot, it knocked it right out. My knees got worse again.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed, the pain came back, and I'm trying to sue the company that I still owe the money to for those stem cell injections, because they didn't tell me that once I get the COVID shot that it would knock it out.
Well, stem cell injections. Those things are funny because sometimes they work and then sometimes they don't work. That's what they don't tell people about the stem cell injections. The bigger, and so I grasp what you're saying there. Now, the bigger issue coming up now is this, that because you've taken that, now the pain has came back, then you need a complete body overhaul. You need a diagnostic of, okay, what's going on inside of my body? And the biggest one that will show is the D-dimer. So
Right.
the D-dimer test will show if there's any clotting going on microscopically. And once that, if they can attest to that, then you have already a remedy of what to do to stop the clotting. And so this gets into diet, this gets into lifestyle as to what you eat. And granted, we know they're doing all this crazy stuff with the food. However, what we're saying is we do the best you can under the circumstances. There's always water fast and fasting. That's another thing that breaks up spike proteins, because then your body sends in cells to go clean everything out essentially. So that's why going forward, we would need to see everything. We'd have to have full disclosure, a full diagnostic on your body before we even consider you coming on and changing your race and ethnicity.
I see, understood.
So now because it's not only you, they did that to the U.S. military. So the
Yeah,
U.S. military has been doing an investigation on, they said to do that. So we're going to find out. All right.
okay.
So
Thank you.
if you come up to something that says, hey, this can repair your DNA, whatever, you present that to us. We'll let us look at the hospital chart. Okay, your DNA's fixed, but so far all the doctors we've talked to said once that's in your system, your genes are changed forever. So
Wow.
you're gonna have to monitor your body. You're gonna have to be meticulous in watching what's going in your body, what's happening with your body internally. All right.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. iPhone, who's iPhone? I'm letting everyone else know. Rule number 1, you got to put your cameras on. I got to see who you are, and you shouldn't be behind the wheel. But I need to see who I'm dealing with. And especially if you're dark skinned and you're in the dark, you're not helping.
Hi, Chief.
Hey, greetings.
Hey, how are you? I
am. I'm white that I am white.
Yeah,